Well, thank you for joining me again today, friends. Today's reading in Numbers chapter 19 and 20. I want to focus on chapter 20. I guess you could say chapter 20 is kind of the death chapter, because in the beginning of chapter 20, Miriam died, Moses' sister. And the end of chapter 20, Aaron died, his brother. But stuck in the middle there is another kind of death. Now, the people again, they had no water and they were complaining to Moses, and God told Moses to speak to a rock and the water would flow out. Well, earlier Moses had struck a rock, and Moses was, by this time, he was pretty frustrated, and he just struck the rock instead of speaking to it. Now, what Moses did not understand was that this rock was more than just a rock. There's a symbolism. In fact, in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4, Paul tells the Corinthians that this rock was Christ. There was a lot of symbolism that. So not only did Moses disobey God, but it wasn't, well, let me just say, Jesus Christ, if Jesus was the rock, he wasn't going to get crucified twice. He's crucified once. Now we speak to him and he hears us and he answers our prayer and supplies the living water that we need. And Moses didn't understand all of that. So what happened? Moses was not allowed to go into the land of Canaan because he disobeyed God, and which again, he didn't understand the symbolism, but he disobeyed God. God saw all this. Now, friends, I want to say that sometimes we don't understand why God is telling us to do certain things, and maybe we want to do it the way we've always done it, the way we do. Well, last time I struck the rock and water come out. Why can't I do it this time? But we must be obedient to God because God sees a bigger picture. And if we're not obedient to God, if we don't do it the way he says to do it, then there's going to be a punishment, a death, there's going to be some disappointments in our life. And I imagine that after 40 years of wandering in the wilderness and all that Moses had gone through, how disappointed he must have been when God said, you can't go in. You can see the land, but you can't go in. I want to encourage you today that listen to the voice of the Lord and be obedient. Do exactly what he says, because if we try to cut corners anyway, it's going to bring about a death. Maybe not a literal death, but it'll bring about a disappointment, a spiritual death perhaps. Well, God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.